Okay, I am back. So, I always feel just constricted when I'm here, and that's okay. That's kind of the whole point is to turn on the live video and add the pressure and stress and just stay here. And then I can do anything with this moment with this extra energy. So that's my goal is to be in improv, which means I am in this moment, right here, no matter what. I have felt anxiety and completely shut down my entire life. So I'm done with that. I'm going to breathe into it. I'm going to completely accept it, and I'm going to map it out, all of it. So I disappeared for a week to go to dance camp, and it was rather magical. I shared this map, the cube, and somebody already knew of it from last year. And as I was sitting around the dinner table or lunch or wherever, one of the person was like, "Oh, hey, Hector, do you have your map? Like, can you show us, whatever, And it's like, okay. Like, usually, I feel really weird to push things, but when somebody comes to me and asks, it's like, yeah, this is my entire life. And it was so clear that this is my life purpose, that I stumbled upon this fire. It's like stealing fire from the gods and being able to see my entire life in on one page. So, in this one moment, this is my example. This is a theater of the now, right here. Okay. What I've noticed, what I've realized, what I've deduced is that in every communication, there is two implied parties. Who I imagine I am speaking to, the imaginary audience, and who I believe I am speaking from or as. So here's the trick that I have developed as shadow improv, shadow puppet improv theater. Okay. So my imaginary audience is 8 billion people. Like every possible person who could be watching. I'm just going to imagine they're all watching. There is no higher stakes. Okay. But who am I? Right? That's the audience. I don't know who's speaking. This is imaginary. I'm speaking to myself. So I could declare whatever audience I want. So I'm going to declare to my own subconscious that I am speaking to 8 billion people. Right? Let's just go straight at it. What would I do? You know? And who am I speaking as? Well, let's go big as well. I'm speaking on behalf of all of humanity as one instance of all of humanity, right? That's absolute logic. Like, I'm not saying I'm all of humanity, but I speak on behalf of all of humanity because I'm one representative of all of humanity. So, that just clears the ground. Like, okay, there is no higher stakes. There is no parts of me that I cannot accept, including right now, as I'm saying all these things. What I feel is this like creeping freeze, this creeping like it's getting harder and harder to speak. And that's where shadow improv theater comes in. I give voice to the subconscious parts of me and make them into little characters I can play. And before I had my eyes closed and it completely changed the entire universe. And right now I'm not doing that. And we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll have to close my eyes because it gets a little too much and I shut down. So basically I'm here. This is like the um, high dive. This is the um, extra hard emotional strength training because I am tired of all my limitations. And I found out something. I found out that it wasn't fear. It wasn't fear that was locking in my fear this whole time. It was anger. So there's four primary emotions. These are the four I work with. And I found these. All right. So desire, fear, that's the one I thought I was working with. And I still am, where I'm still leaning into it. However, the real tricky part was the anger. Oh, the self criticism. And right now, even if I say that, I feel the energy of it. And it's often not verbal. It's like a feeling. It's like color. It's like and it and I can kind of interpret it. But when we give it a word, we can start to be able to get a handle on it. Okay, so it was actually anger. It was self-attack. And then the fourth emotion is emotional hurt. So part of shadow improv theater, shadow puppet improv theater, and this emotional liberation spell is that I declare my imaginary audience, I declare my imaginary speaker, and there will be shadows that comes and goes. And each of these waves of the emotions, I give them a name, a voice, and I bring what's on the inside outside. That is the basic theory that I have worked out. I don't know what you're doing. Oh, I think I said the activation word. Anyways, um, of what shadow is. All right, shadow is the parts of us that hide because it was unacceptable when we were growing up. So in order for them to heal, I need to bring them out into the light. And how I do it is through live video. Because my brain cannot tell the difference of whether or not one person is watching, or a million, or as I declare it, 8 billion people. Or I go even higher stakes. It's like there could be trillions of future people watching this because this is saved, for all eternity. So there is no higher stakes. I'm talking to everyone right now. It's like, okay, right? So, and in this moment, the wave that's coming through me is this wave of confusion, disintegration. That's one of the strategies. It's not knowing how to complete a sentence or a thought. And it seems like it is coming from me. It isn't. This is all coming from my shadow, from the past, from the parts of me that are trying to protect me. And now that I know that the issue isn't fear, the issue is anger, criticism, attack, self-attack. And here's why. It is because my brain is trying to get ahead of social rejection, of imagined social rejection. And so it generates a simulation of what could happen. And then it's supposed to help me get around it or avoid these pitfalls or, However, the mechanism, um, let's see if I can draw it. So I am struggling now. So I'm just going to acknowledge what that is. I struggle when I reach into the unknown. This is the thing that I have. Whew, again, now it's getting harder. Okay. So when it's hard, I switch into shadow mode. I can't explain as much. So the only thing I can do is demonstrate. I am a representative of all of humanity. This fear, this anxiety I feel, this struggle. I struggle for everyone who feels this way. I stand up for them. I want to show everyone the hard parts. One of the things I've realized is why I feel so um, inadequate is because I watch these videos that are fed to me by algorithms, and the algorithms only feed the cleanest, the most interesting, those algorithms do not show the mistakes, do not show the hesitations, the realness. And so, it's just like if you're watching models in all the medias, like, and we look at ourselves, like, yeah, of course I'm gonna find myself ugly if all I see are models all day long on movies, TVs, everyone we admire. So it's the same thing, it's a subtle subconscious effect. So, so right now, this is live video. This is the frame. And I'm coming back to myself. And this is emotional strength training. I do this over and over. And part of the struggle is because I want to look good. And when the emotions come and sweeps over, it's hard for me to perform. It has actually created a counter shadow to which I don't believe in performance, because I can't do it. So some part of me puts that into shadow and says, oh, I didn't want to do that anyways. Performance is inauthentic. But this week I taught the cube over and over and over, and it's the same talk every time. Now the cube opens up. One side is the dimensions of our reality, and one side is the health-wealth relationship analysis. And so, like, even right now, I've noticed in this moment that there's a script inside my brain. Like it kind of knows what I'm about to say, right? It's my own brain. There's only so many words I can say at a time. And this part of my brain gets ahead of it. It's like, oh, I know what you're gonna say, and just gives me a script. It's like I wanted to say that naturally. So that exists, the script. This is the theater of the now. Whatever happens right here is exactly what it is. Logically, uh, like even when I say that, it sounds so weird, but it is. It's absolute acceptance of the now, the emotional acceptance of the now, because the critic doesn't. The critic judges between, it's like that's a six, boo, the critic that judges. So it is this critic that doesn't accept whatever is happening in now. And yes, here's what my brain is giving me, right? The critic is kind of like using a stick, like, oh, you suck. And it uses a stick to try to motivate me. Let's say this direction is positive. It's trying to use a stick to motivate me upwards. It's like a pain attacking motivation. If I fall below this point, consequences. Another way is reward based, is love, acceptance, that reward myself for going in the positive direction. Here is the vicious cycle. It is the very nature of the critic that's causing my performance to crash. And when my performance crashes, the critic attacks even more. So this is how I learn to integrate and overcome, is by bringing this part that was subconscious into the light. And the way I do it is by drawing it out. And I call this visual thinking using visual language. I think this is my short form for the structure. And this is how I'm making my progress. This is how I mapped out the life, the universe, and everything. And I could print it on one 8.5 by 11 paper. This. Like I walk through the whole thing every single time. And it's the same talk. You know, here's what you need to do if as a player on Earth, health, wealth, relationships, we get ahead of it. And if we get our wealth from our life purpose, we rise above what is called the deficit needs line. And then we automatically feel abundant when we're doing what we love, we're getting paid, we have great family, and we have amazing health. It's like, yeah, that's what life is all about. When we're below that point, everything is a struggle. All right, so this is the map of the universe and everything. This is the visual self-coaching map. So self-coaching map. The cube. I'm still working out the name. cube, map, the map to life, universe, and everything, the strategy guide. If life was a game, this would be the strategy guide. Okay, so there's that. I have that. I taught that all week. And as people heard about it, more people came to me. So I didn't have to reach out to them. And that solved a lot of my emotional challenges. I don't like to sell. I don't like to push. It feels weird. I feel like it is by design. I don't want to sell. Again, am I putting that into shadow? See that I have an instant counter voice, which is my anticipated critic. Oops, my anticipated critic. That's what jumps in. Like right, just that moment, I was like, I lost it, but I lost what I was gonna say. So this anticipated critic is extremely important. So another thing is I use ChatGPT, and this is how I use it. I give it little pieces of awareness, and then I ask it for the pattern underneath. So what I noticed was that there's some truth. So I'm either good or I'm bad at something. And then there's a layer that I sometimes want to hide. It's like, oh yeah, if I'm really good at something, I try to sometimes pretend I'm not. Right? I pretend I'm not so that, oh no, like maybe people won't think I'm pretentious, right? Or if I'm bad at something, like social, whatever, I sometimes pretend I'm not bad, so I'm good, you know? So there's a pretend layer. And then there's a layer where like I'm not pretending, but I am. Anyway, so I was just giving ChatGPT all these little tidbits of like I have these suspicions and this series of reaction counter reaction. Can you give me the structure underneath? And this is what it gave me, right? So one, there's the truth, right? That's the first layer. Then it actually created a second layer, which is the anticipated social rejection. Anticipated social rejection. Okay, so that's number two. So I anticipate like, oh, this is the truth about me. Like maybe I'm bad at people and I sometimes freeze up. I anticipate, oh, people are not going to like me, or somebody's not going to want to date me because like I feel weak and insecure. Okay, and then my um, what is it? This is the response. So I pretend to not be bad with people. This is my mask. Right? I don't want people to see my insecurities. And then number four, the problem is that I feel incongruent. So a split. I am one way and I'm pretending to be another. And that takes actually a lot of brain power that I don't actually even have. Like if I'm already bad with people, I don't have that much extra brain power to pretend to be good, but I'm trying to do it anyway, so it's doubly loading my brain. That's why it's splitting my brain. I have to create two separate realities. And then number five would be the resolution somehow of this split. Hmm. So that's how I use ChatGPT. I didn't have these five layers. I just threw it some random else observation that's, sometimes I'm good at something. Like I'm pretty darn good with this map. But I don't know how to sell it. I don't know how to talk about it without sounding like, hey, look at this, without pushing it. So I pretend it's not there, or like I downplay my strengths. But then that feels, and then, so those are the little pieces I put in there, and I ask ChatGPT, like, okay, tell me what's the underlying structure, and it gave me these 5 points. And this is how I start getting underneath to the systems that operate my shadow. So most shadows, if not all shadows, are social shadows. They were generated from social drives, either from our parents or from our peers. That's why this is so important. And it has been internalized, and this is why it was internalized, because we got burned, in our past. We said something, we got laughed at. It's like, oh no, that hurt, right? So that created a anticipated social rejection. And then we want to respond to that. We don't want to feel that way. So we, like, oh, we learned unconsciously. None of this is conscious, that I need to pretend to not be insecure. I need to pretend to be smooth and cool, even though inside it's like, ah. And then, of course, eventually we feel this this effort, this split in being that, like, yes, I am socially anxious, and, it's okay for me to feel it. So this is kind of the resolution. Okay. So these are the 5 pieces of, what is it? What is this? Uh, the mask. This is the 5 phases of unmasking. So the truth is whatever it is. We're either good or we're bad at certain things. We mask, right? We pretend we're either not good at something so that we don't offend somebody and make somebody feel inadequate. Or we pretend we're good at something, like, I'm not anxious, I blah 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 blah. This is mask. So no, this is masking. So this part is mostly unconscious. When we start being exhausted, we move into phase 4. It's like, oh, this split isn't, it feels terrible. It's using up, I'm just exhausted. So how do I resolve this split? Well, for me, it is no longer hiding. If I'm anxious, I'm anxious. And when I say it, I found that, like, hey, everybody is that way too. Or a lot of people tell me, it's like, yeah, I do, I feel that too. It's like, cool. So I serve to help people feel not so alone, and so that they can do this too. Okay. So a big part of shadow work is bringing what's on the inside, outside, inside, outside. I say that a lot. So most of the shadow work is bringing what's on the inside, outside. And I do this under my own control, right? Everything here is me. I get to hold the frame. I get to control. I don't see who is watching. Could be no one. It could be 5 people, 10 people, a million people. It doesn't matter. It would matter if I find out. That's why I'm like, I don't really see it. Later on, I may find out, and it will affect future videos. And that's the way it is. Right? So this is my emotional cutting edge. Okay? Everything we want is on the far side of emotional strength training and decreasing emotional self-abuse. So, strength training that was working on the fear, like getting stronger than the fear. And then I need to decrease the anger that's actually driving me downwards. So it's doing what I'm afraid, like I'm doing now, feeling the criticism when I pause and I freeze. And that's what's driving the extra freeze It is the cause and consequence of its own attempt to make me better. It is a negative uh, punishment attempt to help me, and it backfires. You hear that emotion? I love you, and this is what hurting us. Criticism, attack is not doing what um, we want. I love you. We learned this from a very critical parent. We learned this from a critical society, from judgment. They, in some ways, are all trying to help us, you know, be better. And sometimes people feel intimidated and they try to bring somebody down a peg. And I have done that myself. My own emotions have feel insecure, right? So I am an example of all of humanity, right? So this part, the 8 billion, and I imagine them cheering me on no matter what. And then there's an occasional critic, and then I isolate that critic. You know, when there's a critical voice, it's like, that's a critic. Hey, critic, where are you? So I external, it's not me. Like I pull it outside of me. It's like, okay, hi, critic. Right, so this is the anticipated social rejection. But by anticipating it, we have internalized it. And then our response now have to either go around it or we address it. And we face it. And we let go. And I address the entire critic role, the entire stadium role, the role of critics. They are all ineffective. I love you all, my inner critics. And there will be critics, absolutely. And I will deal with them all the same. Be like, oh, thank you. I feel that as, because if I say that, I feel that as criticism, that sounds defensive. I'll simply, like, oh, thank you so much for your feedback. And I'll simply keep walking. I don't need to address them. I don't need to um, make them feel bad and shut them down because they just have thoughts, you know. But internally I will deal with them all the same. It's like negative punishment style, which only serves to make things challenging and worse. Unintended emotional violence. I see you and I'm put you down. Not like I just keep walking. I don't use it, I don't pick it up. So I deal with the entire category of criticism. I identify the criticism. I identify the entire category as non-functional. In fact, it makes things worse. Non-functional. I accept it, acknowledge that it simply exists as part of humanity, and it is one way that life has tried to deal with helping somebody change by using aggression and violence and disapproval. And I let go of all of that. I have this absolute shielding. I do not accept blame, shame, or guilt trips. Period. When I feel those things, I understand that they are all incorrect. They are all old code. They're violent code, and I do not accept violence within myself. So, as I say these things, I say them to myself. I declare them to myself. That's why I do these videos, is so that it anchors more. Every time I explain the cube and the map of life, I tell myself exactly, like earlier today, I spent so long on Facebook, so long, scrolling. And I know that's me activating a trauma shield and being stuck in the emotional sea. Okay. It's like, oh, I put it down and then I look for the next action I want to be doing that is productive, right? So this is all me mapping out everything in real time. These are where these maps come from. And just like this 5 layer of social unmasking, the 5 layers of social masking, social unmasking, unmasking, yes, masking. It's unmasking because this part used to be unconscious. We had a true part about ourselves. We anticipated social rejection, so we responded a certain way. There's nothing wrong with any of this. There's nothing wrong with any of this. It's just that some things are not functional. And they're so non-functional that they are the very causes of the things that they are critical about. Like, oh, you're performing badly. You caused that, my dude, my inner critic. You caused the very thing you're criticizing about. Now I see it, Um, there used to be internal voice that says, "Oh, you have nothing to say." That's the critic. That's not fear. It's not fear. It is critic. Like right now, I feel so much freer. I feel so much slower. And I got so much validation. It was at least 15 people. Like I was at a table, you know, and like 4 people at a time. I was like sharing the map. I gave each of them a copy. They could take it home. I got so much validation. True, one could say that I don't need validation to feel worthy in my life, but I do because that was my upbringing. So right now, this moment, this level of freedom comes from so much social validation from this week. And realizing that my challenges come from the inner critic, the anger. And I built this uh, shadow puppet improv theater, aka spit. Spit it out. Come on. Let's just spit out our shadow. There's no problem. There's no like the more I do it, the less I realize I ever needed to hide. There was nothing wrong. There is nothing there is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with me. There is nothing wrong. What was wrong, and I say that with lightly, was the critic. This was the very thing that generated its own error. It threw the wrench into the machine and then said, "Look, there's a wrench in the machine." Understand how frustrating that is? It's like, you have nothing to say. It's like, brain, that very thing is the thing you're causing. But it wasn't fear, it was anger. And now my entire being is different. Shadow work is working. Plus, I understand I have mapped out a lot of other parts of reality. I understand that as long as I'm doing the thing that gets me forward, the physical things, the correct things, as long as I'm not just sitting around, I feel great. If I'm Oh, I need to. I need to dry my clothes. Okay, I need to set an alarm. Hold on. Say and it's like I need to do the thing. I forgot about it. Okay, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Okay. All right, I'll end this on the hour. Okay. So what is this moment? Well, this is a journal of the moment. This is the cutting edge of my research on reality. This is research. I'm deconstructing reality and mapping it. And I'm specifically mapping the now, the theater of the now. Whew. So, if life was a video game, this would be how to play it. So, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? Um, I don't know. I don't know. I feel content right here. Should I stop? Should I stop before? Let me think about it. Let's try just mapping a few things. This is what I do in the morning. I'll show you. Okay. So I start out by mapping myself as quick as possible. Stick figure. Okay. There's a day. In the morning, I do my morning routine. It's important for me to write that down. Stick with it. If I slow down and stop, I will ruminate. I will start scrolling Facebook, and my brain will go all sorts of places. And once I do the morning evening routine, I have time in between. Right? And at some point, like, let's just say sleep was here. Okay? I wake up, get enough sleep. Okay. So now, what do we do? Okay. Um, let's draw this is the super fast health, wealth, relationship 1, 2, 3, which is just a mapping of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay. Health, wealth, relationships gets us the bottom 3. And then life purpose gets us above the deficit needs line. And then, well, let's move everything over a little bit. A little bit. Okay. Right. And this is the science of success. Anything you want to be successful at is as simple as going from point A to point B. And if it's that simple, why doesn't everybody do it? Because they have fallen into the emotional sea and then it feels terrible, so they want to feel better. They activate the trauma shield, and they are now stuck. To get out of it, you do your routines whether you feel them like it or not, and then you reward yourself later. That's a contract, and you need to fulfill that, or else your body will not believe you next time. And then you use the oops. Okay. Otherwise, your body will not believe you next time you make that contract. Okay? And then, of course, you could do emotional strength training by intentionally going into the sea. Anyways, okay. So now we go up to here. We do, so that's why even if if I'm stuck, so this is how I get myself out of anything. If I'm stuck scrolling Facebook, I am in here. What I need to do is go up to here, which means I need to find whatever I'm supposed to be doing and go and do that. It's usually something physical, a physical action of some kind. Even if it's symbolic work, right? So these are the dimensions of reality. Da, 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 da. So this is physical work, and this is symbolic work. Even if it's symbolic work, I still need to be sitting in front of something and be very clear as to what action I'm doing, or else I drift into, okay, this is the reality 2, into daydream land, but it's actually negative because I'm ruminating, so -2, right? Reality -1 is feeling this reality is terrible. -2 is I'm just sitting here ruminating. -3 is scrolling Facebook or something else, external media that's being piped into my reality. Okay. So anyways, these are the games I'm always playing at all times. It's one of these games. Okay. That's the social dimension. And this is the emotional dimension. It's always one of these games. If I stop for too long, somewhere along here, I'm just sitting there, I fall usually straight into the emotional sea, and I'm ruminating, and I don't like how that feels, so I open Facebook and I feel a little better, and I start scrolling, and I'm stuck here for, sometimes an hour, sometimes 20 minutes. So I need to know blah. I know I need to, there we go. I know I need to get out of the sea by doing my routines, and then if I'm in free time, I need to use free time well, or again, I will fall straight into the sea. Okay? And if I'm doing something that's scary, it's one of these 4 emotional blocks. Distraction is usually being down here. Fear stops me from even starting. Overwhelm is when I'm doing it and I'm freaking out. But if I'm no longer overwhelmed, I've done it a while, I could get bored. This is the sweet spot. Again, my goal is to become a financial bodhisattva and be aligned to my life purpose. I am aligned to my life purpose. My life purpose is to teach the map. Okay, so I know that now definitively. The map. To teach the map of life, the universe, and everything. All right. So, right, this is how I know where I am, which dimension I am at all times, right? Usually in the morning, I'm doing physical things. I wake up, I shave, I do proteins and vitamins. Okay, right, this is the formula. Rest, fuel, clean, dress, exercise, stretch, and balance, right? So this maintains my body as a daily routine. Rest, did I get enough sleep? Fuel, that's everything goes into my body. Clean, everything that's off my body, shower, hygiene, clothes, boom, now I'm ready for the day. Sometime during the day, I want to exercise, stretch, and balance. Okay, now what I do, this is all body maintenance. Then I go out, look out in the world. Okay, next part is, so this is health, wealth, which means my physical spaces, the things I own. Do I need to maintain anything? Do I need to buy anything? Do I need to return anything? And this also includes money. So that's kind of a separate, category. But space, so cleaning my space, that's kind of next part. Like I've kind of locked down my routines. It's huge. Okay. So with my free time, I can either do space, I can clean up my space, I can organize it, or I can work on business systems, or I can do emotional strength training, or today I did a lot of relationship connection with the relationships that I built at dance camp. Okay. So now, right. So this is the daily routine. So now let's look at time, right? This is the now moment. This is the experiential dimension. This is me looking out into the world, out from my own eyes. Well, that's this moment. And then there is a day, which is what I drew here, right? So as we go forward in the day, uh, we have morning routine, evening routine, and then free time in between where I invest time. Okay? And then we have another day and another day. So this is kind of my daily routine. And then there is, let's go into a weekly, right? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that's like our week, okay? And then from there, this is a game of time. From there, we have, let's just say the month, you know? It's July, and these are the days. Cool. And then how many months are there? July is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That's the rest of the year. So that is kind of the time horizon. All the way from distant planning to daily routines to weekly routines, maybe monthly routines, and then the free time in between is what we use to build our castle in the sky, our projects. I have never given this talk to myself as cleanly as I have now. I have leveled up. I think it's partly because I realize it's anger and self-attack. So with the free time, I start working away on my projects. This is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I start climbing up the hill with the free time, and health, wealth, relationships is the base camp that we always need to come back to. Health, wealth, relationship. 1, 2, 3. With free time, I can either play, I can work on self-actualization, collective actualization, science, art, anything I want. That's how I coach myself through time and what I need to do. And these are the games, right? So I'm mapping what I need to do. I'm actually doing the physical things. I probably need to mow the lawn soon. I'm always doing it in the now, so I can train my consciousness to slow down. No matter what I'm doing, I can always work on the one breath meditation, right? Breath, speed, posture, and letting go of emotional effort. So, breathing in, I slow down my speed by 1/2. I put my body into posture. I stretch, straighten my spine. And as I breathe out, I let go of all emotional effort. And I go into effortless action if I have to do something, or I go into effortless emergence if I'm talking, or I am in the symbolic world talking with people. All the while I am in the experiential dimension. I am here doing all the things I need to do, letting go of emotional effort, which is emotional mastery, emotional strength training, shadow work. Okay, so this is the highest level template. Where do the actual information live? Well, I have actual physical things all around me, so it's here. My actual knowledge, I need to build a second brain to store all this. I probably build it in Notion, but I'm not the best at that yet. So I'm simply going to acknowledge, instead of just diving into it and then getting overwhelmed and thinking I can't do it, I'm simply going to declare right here on live video that's like to myself, hey, remember, I'm not terribly good at this yet. Go slow. I'm not terribly great at organizing physical things either. Go slow. I'm not terribly great at connecting with people either. Go slow. What I'm good at is the highest level map. That is my one strength. And from there, I know where I am. Right now, I'm pretty much at the evening routine. I should have done this video earlier because it's going to probably set my sleep back a little bit having so much bright lights and the stress of the video. But I haven't done it, so I'm still going to do it even though I don't feel like it. Right? So that is getting above the sea and doing what I know is going to be the highest benefit for me. So right now, this is not physical health I'm training. This is my mental, emotional health. Okay. And then there's also physical if I need to go to the doctor. That's why I put that little bit here. And I could train or I can treat myself. And then fully embodied spirituality would be right here. And doing what I need to do while, let's do the spell, right? Okay, here is the spell. What if every moment I live is a fully embodied spirituality? What if one day I realized, wait, every single word I have ever spoken was already poetry. Every move I made was already dance. Every sound I made was already song. And I chained that realization moment by moment till the end of my days. How good would my life be then? All while still doing the things I need to do to maintain my health, wealth, relationships, my routines, going to work, all the things. But I do it with full embodiment and I let go of all emotional effort and I'm just playing the game full out. I'm playing full out. That's my spell for embodied spirituality. And I manage my physical wealth, my things, my car, my vehicles, my money, my finances, my business systems, my jobs, my investments. I think knowledge would be here probably. Biological, analog, and digital. Bad. Anyways, okay. Um, meow. Um, right, this would be science of success, success, life purpose, no, financial bodhisattva, and life being aligned to my life purpose. I'm already aligned to my life purpose. I'm working on the finance part now, which means business systems, which means building products and exchanging them for value. That is my next part. And I'm over an hour. Woot! Okay, and I just started my community and I started reaching out to individual people, putting them into my contact list. And I know eventually it is all shadow work. So that's the map. That's how I coach myself every single day. I know at all times where I am, where I'm trapped, and my job here is to teach people this map that I found. And I'm good. I'm good. This is the value I bring to life, the universe, and everything. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. I love you all.